Welcome everybody to another Deeper Than the Headlines video. I am CJ Wolf with Healthicity. The headline today is a Minnesota couple was indicted for a $15 million medical billing fraud case. Now, when you read a little bit deeper, you learn that it had to do with some very specific CPT codes. This is why coding, medical coding, and auditing those codes is such an essential aspect of a compliance program. Now, the codes involved in this particular case had to do with biofeedback, neurofeedback, and neurobehavioral testing. And it's important to remember this is an indictment, so no one's been proven guilty yet. But when I pulled the court records, you can read a little bit more detail about what is alleged. What's alleged here is that this couple was billing for neurofeedback by using a biofeedback CPT code. Now, that sounds fine sometimes, right? No, it's not fine. Neurofeedback is when you have sensors placed on your scalp and you are observing on a screen kind of the brain waves and the electrical activity of the brain when you're trying to overcome certain maybe mental or nervous conditions like anxiety or something like that. Biofeedback is when you have sensors placed and monitoring certain physiologic functions like heart rate and breath rate, respiratory rate, and those sorts of things. Sounds similar, and in some cases they kind of are, but they're totally different procedures and different codes. And it's alleged that the couple knew that the neurofeedback was not going to get reimbursed, so they submitted the code 90901, which was for biofeedback. That's a no-no, if it's true, right? The other example is that they combined certain codes that should not have been combined. There was a code for neurobehavioral testing that included administering the test, evaluating the test, and interpreting the test. That was code 96116. And it was alleged they also billed a code that kind of overlapped with that, which was neurobehavioral testing for the evaluation and the interpretation, but not the administration, but billing both codes. There were allegations of using a modifier to help bypass certain edits that were in place to prevent inappropriate billing with multiple codes. And then the third code I wanted just to mention is an add-on code, 90785, for interactive complexity. This is often added on to certain psychotherapy or other types of codes where there's an added complexity because of the way you must interact with the patient. And that it's an add-on code, meaning it should be added to an additional service, but only when that additional interactive complexity is present. So just some very specific examples that are deeper than the headlines. This is why it's important to make sure you have coders and auditors certified and are able to audit this kind of work. Hope you enjoyed this Deeper Than the Headlines. See you next time.